Okay, hope everyone's doing well. I have a new, older video for you. This is a this is an interview that I did. It's coming close to 10 years now. I did this interview 10 years ago. Wait a minute. Let me just back up a little bit. So, I grew up Antiochian Orthodox Christian. And that's the same as Greek Orthodox, which I think is more familiar to people. You know, Greek Easter and all that. You know, Easter's coming up. You know that Greeks celebrate Easter at a different time, different calendar. Well, I was raised in an Antiochian Orthodox church, which are Orthodox who are, Syrians, Palestinians, Lebanese, Egyptians, Jordanians, so on, and some Greeks. So the priest that I had growing up, his name is Father Anthony Gabriel, at St. George Orthodox Church on Jean Talon Street West. Yes. He was the priest there. He came in the 70s, at a time when, a lot of the boomers were having children. And so a lot of us generation, a lot of the Generation X who, were very young and yet to be born, experienced Father Anthony Gabriel. And he was a very different type of priest. He didn't have the big beard or anything like that. He did have a beard, but not the big beard. So he was a priest who, he was American, and he came in to St. George's congregation, kind of green. He was young. He didn't have much experience as a priest. And he was taking on a congregation that was pretty big. St. George Antiochian Orthodox Church is one of the older Antiochian Orthodox churches in the Archdiocese in all of North America. Hey, how you doing?
Good yourself.
Good. And so he was put on trial, not literally, but metaphorically speaking, to make sure that he was going to stand the test of time at our church, and he did. He ended up staying there for about 40 years. And growing up, I didn't know any other priest. It was only him. Some others came in and left, assistants. But Father Anthony Gabriel was the one constant, I guess, in my life growing up at that church. And when it came time for him to retire, I knew it was tough on a lot of parishioners, and as well very tough on him. But I also know when you're in a transitional phase like that, when you're retiring, that you don't really, it's hard to put things into perspective because you're in the zone, And I knew that I had to seize the opportunity and put a camera in front of him and just have him reflect on his time, and I guess what was most important to him, and just try to catch the genuine emotion that he had, or that he was feeling right before he left. Because not only did he retire from the church, he left Montreal. He did a lot. We don't talk about it in the interview, but he did a lot where he brought in a lot of or he facilitated a lot of immigrants to come in from Middle East at the end of the Lebanese Civil War. He helped expand the church. I mean, he was really one with the community. He was known around the community. He was known by other churches. He was just known everywhere. He taught at McGill. It's hard for me to really just put into words here, what this guy did as an extroverted, a huge extrovert, progressive priest at an Orthodox church for over 40 years. So this isn't about the West Island. It's not about Point Claire. But it is an endangered story because it's sad that as soon as one priest leaves, a new one comes. And, with Orthodox churches, a lot of the cases, especially with the case with my church, St. George, a lot of new parishioners come in. A lot of the ones that have been here for a long time, like my family, we don't go as often, if any at all. So a lot of the new parishioners won't know Father Anthony, won't know his legacy, won't know what he did to the church, won't know that, certain things that they experienced at the church was started by this one guy. I mean, it's not the type of thing that you do at churches, I guess. You really celebrate, earthly achievement. I don't know, maybe it takes away from the godly achievement that we're all celebrating there. Anyways, I've already chewed up enough time here. So this is my interview with Father Anthony Gabriel that I shot maybe 2016, I believe. And the beginning of it was actually shot in 2020 because I had a lot of time during the pandemic. So I decided to, after 4 years, to piece it together. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope it makes you think of maybe someone who you knew who had to retire and walk away from something that they put their whole life into, and how they dealt with that transition. So it's not so much about this story, maybe, and maybe it's more about when my father retired, that same year or a year earlier, after working at McDonald's for 40 years. But that's for another video. I digress. Enjoy this interview with Father Anthony Gabriel, Antiochian Orthodox priest of St. George, Montreal.
Yeah, that be.
Hello.
Hello.
You didn't trim your eyebrows like I asked you to.
No, I didn't do anything.
So I wanted to reach out to you because, I'm at home now, as most people are. And it's forced me to look through some back catalog stuff that I'd filmed that I hadn't had a chance to put together yet. And one of those things is the interview that I did at your place in Outremont. Do you remember when I did that?
Yeah.
I came here, when I was 35 years old. I did not want to come to Montreal. And when I came here, at first it was like kind of nice, but it was still very tense. The people were tense with me, this young guy with 3 kids. And one of the elders of the church told me, if you don't seize the bull by the horn, they say in Arabic, they'll break your neck under their feet. Because I heard that no priest lasted more than 7 years in Montreal. I had to show them that no one's going to work harder than me in leading this parish with a vision. And here I am 40 years later, having survived all the storms of this city. My dad told me, and I wanted to say this on my last Sunday, and I forgot, it slipped my head. Keep your name, keep your faith, get your education, and be excellent, and you'll always succeed. And I wanted to say to them at my last liturgy, I wanted to say, Mom and Dad, did I do you proud? They just were so proud that their son became a priest. And in our culture, like my grandmothers never called me by my name once I was ordained. It was Abuna. Because they knew that I was somebody else. They knew that I had been ordained and given the gift of the Spirit, and I was no longer just their grandson. I promised myself I wouldn't be emotional. You know, it's quite a week celebrating 75 years. My birthday was on Tuesday, and celebrating almost 40 years. September 14th will be my 40th year here in Montreal.
What has been sacrificed in your life because of your hard work?
My children. My children were sacrificed because of my work. I wasn't around. I didn't go to their games. I didn't do the stuff that most fathers did with their kids growing up. And that didn't make my kids very happy or church loving, because, you know, where's Dad?
Going back, would you have done it the same way?
Going back, no. I would prioritize differently. I believe in my heart of hearts that I tried to do the best that I could possibly do for this community.
How are you dealing with this last Sunday?
I think I just set my emotions aside. I don't know. It was like not real for me. It was like I was in a dream. And am I really doing this? I'm really letting someone else come in and take over? And this is my last Sunday here? Thank you. But I accepted it, and it is what it is. That's all. It is what it is. And I felt that I had to stand on my own 2 feet, say goodbye, farewell. It's been a great ride. And I've been blessed. Blessed beyond measure.
I can't believe it.
I love you. Thank you for the chips I ate. But the fact of the matter is, it's really time. It's time. Everyone has to know when is his time. My insides tell me it's just time. There's a picture of me on that wall up there when I was first ordained. I'm there with a full head of hair, skinny. Now I'm bald and chunky. I can't say this is a goodbye, but only au revoir until we meet again. I want him to remember that we had a good and kind priest who cared. That's it. A good and kind priest who cared, and who cared about me, and who loved me. That's what I want him to remember.
Now we're going to do something that we haven't done in many, many years. We're going to have our procession outside, not in the church. And our tradition is, in fact, to do the procession around the church. This is the Orthodox tradition.
You just made me go through a catharsis. I'm supposed to be somewhere an hour ago.